buzz phrases that we're hearing right now. I booked a friend of mine who's coming next month. He's a black police officer in Atlanta, Georgia, and this is an issue that he feels really deeply about because what his opinion, and I'm gonna have to second him on this, is he's seeing people go way too far in the direction of anti-police, defund the police, and it's not that we don't understand where it's all coming from. Because these are all facts.
Right.
There is a problem in this country that needs to be fixed with police brutality. That's a fact. There are cops that are getting badges and guns that should not be allowed to have a badge and a gun. People, they have mental issues. They should be getting checked in to get help. You know what I'm saying? But that being said, though, there's a lot of good cops out there that really want to see their communities be safe and stuff like that,
Then
too.
speak up.
And that's why I'm trying to have them on.
Then speak up.
And I guess the point I'm trying to make is, I think we need to do a better job hiring police, first of all. I really do. I really think that because you can't just become a doctor and take a test. What do you call it? What's those tests that the cops take?
Civil service?
Civil service test, right? You can't just take a civil service test to be a doctor or a lawyer. You got to go to school. You got to be trained. You have to know stuff.
And they're making life-changing decisions.
Life-changing decisions.
Yeah.
So I feel that police should be held up to that perspective where this is a job where you're affecting people's lives.
I think the understanding is it's just said and treated that they're just normal human beings who put on a badge and a gun.
Right.
At the end of the day,
So
we
the
need to
standard
come
is
to
here. The standard is way
yeah,
down
we
here.
need to
because
come
they're
to
just
the
people.
understanding
Yeah.
that we can't say that there's only a few bad surgeons.
Yeah.
There's only a few bad pilots.
Right.
No, we
Are you kidding
we
me?
have to address the root cause again because, honestly, it's not just an issue that exists in Buffalo, and we know the issue does exist in Buffalo because we got people that have suffered from it.
Facts.
We've got people that have died at the hands of police officers in Buffalo and people that have been beaten and brutalized at the hands of police officers in Buffalo. But, we know that it doesn't just exist here, it exists nationally. So it's an issue that's kind of built into the culture of policing. So when you say there are good police officers, I do have to challenge that statement because I do believe that it's very hard to name someone a good police officer when you have a system that is so bent on the destruction of black and brown lives. Now, when we can start actually having an honest conversation about changing that system and restructuring the way that we do community safety and policing, then we can start changing the conversation on who's a good cop and a bad cop. But right now, the entire system is working against an entire.
Here, I got an idea. I'll give you my mic from now on. That mic's making all this weird noise.
I mean, I feel like at the end of the day, I don't want to hear the conversation of there's good cops. And I'm not saying because I know police officers too, Neil, you know that. I know police officers. There are good cops that are in the field. But the issue is that those good cops don't speak about the bad cops. I don't want to hear about it when we're tipping back beers at the bar or when I'm at your personal home. I want to hear about it when I read the newspaper and I realize you just outed 4 bad cops.
And my comment onto that was exactly what I was going to say because during the protests, I've actually had black officer friends who I disassociated myself with because there's a statement in coming out here as a police officer and walking with these protesters because we weren't rioting, it wasn't terrorism, it was protesting, and we were walking in solidarity with everyone else. And it's like, why can't these cops walk with us? Hey, why didn't you come out to this protest? Why don't you come and represent the police force of Buffalo Police Force? Oh, it's because Byron Brown told my sheriff that if we do that, then we get fired. If you get fired, you're going to be the Colin Kaepernick of police officers around the United States. It's like if no one has taken that chance, no one has taken that shot to walk with these actual people, just like you, with the badge on or with the gun, and they still look at us as criminals. They turn their backs towards the other people and they turn their backs toward the other police officers that obviously want to shoot us and attack us. And while we're out here protesting, not being violent, they look at us with their hands on their guns. That's not a good cop. What makes you a good cop is standing up for what's right. And if you're
at the right time,
regardless of who
right.
says
So like Carrie Horn, you know what I mean, and she's a Buffalo hero that has a national name now. Carrie Horn, she did the right thing in a time where she had to make a decision, right?
Yep.
Neil Mack was in an illegal chokehold, right? That was illegal at that time too,
yeah.
and he was at risk of losing his life. and Carrie O'Horn stopped in and saved that man, right? And then in reprimand, she was fired, and she was stripped of her pension, even though she had 20 years on the force, and she was disgraced by everyone from the mayor on down, right? And our black mayor disgraced her, and she's a black police officer that did the right thing.
I follow his politics at this point. We can't call him a black mayor, but
this is actually happening more often than you think. Joe Rogan had a guest on about a year ago who was a cop who stepped down, and this dude was young. He might have been 31 years old. Quit the force. He said that the stuff that he saw was just blowing his mind, like unbelievable. But even he said it got so bad that he and his partner would go around and they would go out of their way to avoid arresting black people. It's gonna sound crazy, and to look more for white people, just so their statistics wouldn't look so bad.
Whiplash, right? It's so bad one way, they go the complete opposite.
So it became a weird. That's a weird situation. If you really break that down and think about it, he's going out of his way and racially profiling white people, so that his numbers won't look and appear like we're only arresting black people. Crazy.
But where are they trained to look for crime at? Where are they
taught? That's why he stepped down.
Like, where are they taught from the moment you born to the moment you of age to understand the world? You taught crime is where black people
in the city,
are. Which is in the city, where you're gonna find gangs and gang members, and I mean, at the end of the day, let's really get to the root of it.
Yeah.
Give us back our after school programs. Give us back our leaders.
You know
Stop
what I
killing
think?
them.
You know what I think?
Stop putting these people in power that don't represent our people.
You know what I think? This is actually a conservative point too. School choice. I do believe that
school choice.
I believe that people should have a choice to go to what school they want to go to,
and
more charter schools.
The only reason is
and your tax dollars should follow.
My issue with that is when you understand where grant funding is placed and why and how it's placed there. We broke it down before. When it comes to schools, there are a couple statistics that play in the amount of funding you get.
Yeah.
The success rate of students, how many students are graduating, the amount of seats that are being filled, the amount of what is it called? The amount of students that are there every day, the attendance of the students. So when you look at that and you pair it with the area, which is another statistic that goes in the front. I'm sorry, I get stumbled up. I'm passionate about this shit. When you understand those statistics and you put them all together, you truly understand that it's not, even in education-wise, the system is not made for us. If my area depicts how much funding my school gets and my school is on Fillmore, how much funding do you think I'm getting? And then you understand the poverty plight of my people. You see that some of them can't go to school. They got to help out their single mom.
Yeah.
They got to do part-time hours. So now the attendance is dropped. You got the area and the attendance. The success rate. How is they going to graduate when they juggling so much? And these is kids. Y'all expect this shit from adults. These is kids that I grew up with, 16 years old. Juggling a job, trying to go to high school. We not even in college yet.
So instead of working now, they turn to selling weed and selling drugs because now they can do that at school. They can do it on the streets. They can do it from home, and it's easier. And they're able to make the same amount of money. And it's a popularity thing at this point. But at the same time now, what if we had an education program in the inner city? Now we understand it's a distressed area. We understand that there are issues that are going on here. This young 18-year-old boy and girl, instead of having them left with decisions to make like that, now we're going to pay them a full-time salary to get an actual skills, a special skills training in plumbing, in carpentry, and an actual skills training, not the knockoff that Job Corps offers you, right? Because I've done construction a long time. I've hired enough drywallers from Job Corps to understand that they don't really provide those kids with a real skill. Right. And they don't provide them with a real payment while they're out there either. Those kids, they'll go there and they get promised a paycheck and they get like $100 a week for attending. That's essentially an allowance for an 18, 19-year-old person. Like, these people need $15, $20 an hour
sounds
in
like
their
a
pocket.
pay-to-play system like prison.
Yeah, they need $15, $20 an hour in their pocket so that they can provide for their families, because those are the issues that we're dealing with at home. I read the statistics on BMHA at $12.50, which is the minimum wage in the city of Buffalo, working 43 hours a week. That's what the poverty threshold is, right? So at $12.50, you have to work 43 hours a week in order to maintain your life in the city of Buffalo, and those are for public assistance and people that are living in BMHA. So you're telling me that a single family household cannot do it. They cannot do it with one job. They can't do it with one job. Now, how many single family households are in the inner city of Buffalo? How many single family households?
I'm one of them.
Right now you tell there's a single family household. Now they have to be single. They can't even be single income because they can't survive with public assistance.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And you get public assistance as soon as you start making any money, you're cut. So
I mean,
you,
like
as
you,
soon as
you,
you
you
start-
get,
I was the
you get
financial
incentivized
provider,
to stay
like-
in the system.
And you know, when we met, it was before Robert was even born. I ended up having 4 kids. I was the financial provider for 13 years.
Yeah.
So you could imagine how it felt as a man to go in a WIC and you look at these checks and you realize between my WIC and with my food stamps, how the fuck am I going to get by? Because it's still not enough.
I'm
You giving me
self-employed.
8 cans when he going through 1 can in 3 days.
My brother, I am self-employed. My job got reduced greatly during COVID because we were not able to do home inspections and everything else. It was to the point where I had to apply for food stamps back in August. I applied for food stamps on September 1st. I did not get a decision. I didn't get a decision until the middle of December. I called them.
Food stamps supposed to be the next day.
You got kids?
I get income because I'm on unemployment, right?
Right.
I was on unemployment, so I have an income, so I'm not emergency food stamps.
Oh,
I've got 5 kids, and I'm a
I'm
single
thinking
father.
of emergency food
I've got
stamps.
5 kids, and I'm a
Yeah,
single father,
yeah.
right? It took them 14 weeks to get me an answer. I called my New York State Assembly person. They told me the reason is that there's 20 people employed at the food stamp office processing 500 applications that they're receiving a day.
500 a day.
Now I'm running for Erie County Sheriff. There's 780 corrections officers, and that's overseeing the 500 to 600 inmates that are in there on average per day. So you're telling about how we're spending money on the issue that prevents crime versus now that the people that have committed a crime, and that's overstaffed. All right,
Overstaffed.
We're